I am Quinny, welcome to the channel guys. In this video today we have got all things Celtic to be talking about. Since the last time we were looking and getting ready for game week 294, so many question marks have been dropped over the Celtic first 11, and I've been doing my best over the last couple of days to analyse the kind of teaching points and the kind of lessons that were learned from Ross County in terms of the manager's strategical deployment of some of the players and exactly how that might translate into the first 11 for Kilmarnock. On top of that, what we'll also be going through in the video today is Juranovic, breaking news, is on the radars of Chelsea and Manchester United as they look to reinforcing and strengthen their defence. And of course, we've been wildly and heavily linked to Alex Collado of Barcelona, the kind of 22-23-year-old wonder kid midfielder. And, you know, with the speculation and the hot transfer links we've been getting, there's a pattern emerging. We'll be getting into that as well in a lot more detail in the video. If at any point today you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, I don't know, please do like and subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble and let's get stuck into it. If you could, hit the subscribe button. I do daily global football content, everything from Wonder Kids and Rising Star Managers to fantasy football and watch-alongs. The most popular content on the channel is transfer insights, Celtic analysis and sorare tutorials. If you are new to sorare and you haven't opened your account yet, there's a link in the description of this video. By clicking on that link, you'll get yourself a free limited card once you've bought 5 from the market, supporting all the content on Quinny 3001 and Sorare TV, and I thank you in advance if you do so. If you do have any further questions or need any advice, then just reach out to me in the comment section of the video. So I think the main shock to most people coming into the Ross County game was that Moritz Jenz started over Welsh, who came out after the game and picked up some sort of bug, some sort of illness. We did see Carl Starfelt make the bench, of course, but that was one of the main surprises of the weekend. It kind of came out closer to the game week deadline locking in that Rio Hatate was not going to make the game, and it was almost a foregone conclusion that Turnbull was going to start as a result. He'll be disappointed with his contribution in the game. No goals or assists or anything like that. Probably the detail of the game that I'm the most gutted that I can't get any real footage on at this moment in time is we got about 17 minutes of Giakoumakis, Jota, Abada and Kyogo all on the pitch, and that was at 1 each when, you know, like I was saying in previous videos, we need to see how this would operate. Unfortunately, I've kind of went across Celtic fan media, no one's really talking about it, and I'm not able to really get any footage on it, so I'm kind of in the dark with exactly how that went and, you know, exactly how it all laid out. Did Kyogo kind of drop into that Turnbull job and maybe collect the ball in midfield a bit more? I don't know, or, you know, whatever. So it was really good to see at least that this has eventually happened, and it makes me happy because as I'm trying to put myself in the manager's shoes, like when the things I'm thinking he should be doing and maybe he's thinking about, when they actually materialise, it gives me a bit of confidence to keep going in that same kind of vein. So with that in mind, we know that Hearts are going to be in the middle of a two-legged affair when we play them at Celtic Park on the 21st, and it's highly speculated that they'll be playing a much rested team. If you look at Dundee United's rotation between the AZ Alkmaar games, I don't think Hearts will be too different from that level of rotation, you know, so should be a relatively nice fixture at home for us. Then we have Dundee United away, and if they progress past Alkmaar, I think they will be in the same boat, where potentially they will be in the middle of a two-legged affair. We then have our first midweek game for Ross County, we then have Rangers, and then I think after that it should be our first midweek of Champions League, if memory serves me correctly. So for me, I think number one, the manager wants, by the time we get to the Rangers game here, I think he wants a lot of the team to be firing on all cylinders, okay? So we don't have that much opportunity for real minutes for the guys to gel and really get up to speed together, so that when the games do come thick and fast, from the Rangers game is the real tipping point. If we're going to be getting Champions League midweeks in here, there's also an international break in September as well, and then we come back into October. This is the real meat and bones of the season, and I do feel that the manager's comments where, you know, we'll see how good pre-season is with how we open the season, I definitely think that the two games we've just had, as well as this next raft on the lead up to the Rangers game, is what he sees as that extended period where we really see the work that we're doing. With that being said, I think the Celtic game away to Kilmarnock, I think first of all the surprise that we had from the Ross County game, I think we're going to get the exact same back four stroke back five. I think it'll be Joe Hart, Carter Vickers, Jenz, Taylor and Juranovic. I don't think Starfelt's going to come back in, because I think Jenz has had a full pre-season, Starfelt hasn't. Obviously Welsh had a full pre-season as well, but Welsh to me and the manager's thinking for the roster depth, if you like, is that Welsh is Carter Vickers kind of understudy, and I think Jenz and Starfelt are there to compete for the same job. And because Jenz is fully fit, had a nice enough debut, and the manager's comments of Jenz after the game makes me think you can get some real high value minutes into Jenz for this away game to Kilmarnock, because by all accounts it should be very much a similar fixture to Ross County away in terms of the size of the pitch, how the opposition are going to play, etc. So I think you can play Jenz in this game, have Starfelt on the bench again, but we can get Starfelt back into the first 11 for Hearts, Dundee United, Ross County, and that can give him a good run up. The manager loves playing his best 11, he loves playing his strongest team, and I think at this moment in time he puts Starfelt in there, but I don't think the manager will waste this opportunity to give Jenz high value minutes before, kind of giving Starfelt his opportunity to reclaim his shirt in the best 11, if that makes sense. So I think you can get to, by the time we finish this Kilmarnock game, Jenz has played 290 minutes, Welsh has played 1. Let's see how Jenz does in the Kilmarnock game if this is to happen. But then when you go into this really difficult period here coming up, when we do have lots of midweeks and whatever, there's absolutely no question marks on either of them. Welsh is obviously getting last season to rely on as well in terms of like proof of work, proof of concept within the manager's system. So when we've got Livingston at home, St Mirren away, Motherwell at home, all this kind of stuff, if we do need to rotate and watch yellow card accumulation and all that kind of stuff, then I think the high value minutes we've got into these guys here will pay dividends later on. So I think Jenz is going to stay back in for the Kilmarnock game. Now I think the midfield is going to remain the exact same. I think we're going to stick with O'Riley, McGregor and Turnbull all from the beginning, and quite simply I just don't think Rio will be rushed right back in for this game. He missed last weekend, and I think the manager will want to have him come back into good fettle and good form. Again, it's high value minutes that Turnbull's now going to be accumulating in this period here, and I don't know, I think maybe away at Dundee United or away at Ross County might be when we see a Tate come back in properly, maybe Hearts at a push, but at this moment in time I think the manager will be quite happy to get Turnbull some good minutes and then maybe give Tate some of the bench action over the Hearts game, the Dundee United game. We get Ross County back in for the beginning, and then Hatate is back in for the mix for the real big, playing twice a week. We've seen the manager's management of Hatate pointing to the fact that he will grill him, he will play him every which way possible. And with that in mind, I don't think he will be in any real rush to put him back into the team, because Turnbull will do everything he can to keep him out the team. And a motivated player like that should perform admirably, and we should be a much better team as a result of having such strong competition in midfield. Now the front three is where it gets really, really tricky, right? Because Jota, of course, is undroppable in the current form that he's in. Kyogo, for me, is the main striker in the team, and what I think the manager is going to decide between, and however the front three is going to come out, is he's either going to start with Giakoumakis and Abada, and then at 60-65 minutes Furuhashi and Maeda will come on, for example, because I think it could be, the manager might be thinking to himself, this is going to be the exact same game as Ross County. These guys changed the game for us, so if it's that sort of game, maybe we start with those types of guys and then we make those changes at the back end of the 90 minutes, depending on how the result's going. Or the manager's going to be going, I want these three guys, Jota, Furuhashi and Maeda, to get every game possible they can all play together, because the front three is really what is going to win us these crucial matches as the season gets, fast and furious, if you like, where we've got games every 2 or 3 days. And Maeda hasn't quite captured the form yet. Furuhashi's got his first goal, and like I said, Jota is a man on fire. Abada's done amazing, and there's every argument for Abada to start, but I do think that Abada, because he is just so direct, he benefits greatly from coming off the bench. He really does. I think against Kilmarnock, he will be effective if he starts, no two ways about it. But I think we've seen in the past that the manager is going to play his way, and he wants to play the best guys possible, and he wants these guys to be getting into form and getting telepathic with each other. And even though this pitch is going to be smaller than Celtic Park, of course, and it's one of the smaller away grounds, it's a plastic pitch as well. Jota, Maeda and Furuhashi are much more capable of interlinking and changing position in that small confined space, perhaps arguably better than Abada or Giakoumakis. So I think it's going to be stylistically, the manager's either going to want those guys into feet, getting in between the spaces and interchanging with each other. Then he goes Jota, Kyogo and Maeda, and I think that is what's going to start. or he thinks to be effective, we'll just pick up where we left off at Ross County. We'll start with Giakoumakis, we'll start with Abada, or maybe even just Abada, and we'll go a bit more direct from the first whistle from the first half, you know. So I do think there's a credible argument for either, but I do think he's going to stay with the same front three. I think he wants these guys scoring and assisting each other every week. That's the level he wants them to get to, and they're only going to get that through reps, through getting more minutes, more game time with each other. And yeah, like you know, if you're looking at the last two games, you're picking Abada over Maeda for this game every day of the week. But the manager's not looking at just the Kilmarnock game, in my opinion. For me, he's really looking at this kind of extended period that we've just went through, building up to when the season really gets dirty. And I think he's going to see this as high value minutes for the front three to develop further, so that when we do play Champions League to compete at the highest level against Rangers in Champions League, we need everyone to be at the top of their game, and Maeda isn't there yet, and the manager wants him to get there. In my opinion, no two ways about it. Now, over the last 48 hours, we've been hotly linked and tipped to sign Alex Collado on loan from Barcelona after him having his kind of breakout season last year at Granada, who got relegated. You know, this, again, along with the Michu transfer links that kind of came and went, as well as somebody else, it's just totally escaped my mind now. But the manager, I think, is putting so much reinforcements into midfield. Of course, Ideguchi's had his injury problems, so we still don't even really know what his impact on the squad can and will be. We're seeing Moy is taking time to get up to speed, and we're trying to kick James McCarthy out the door. So the manager definitely wants the midfield to be as robust as possible. I really do feel that the midfield, if that breaks down through injury and suspension and lack of form and whatever, a lot of the team dynamic really does break down around that, you know. So by getting an Alex Collado, and this guy looks like a doppelganger for O'Riley in terms of his style of play and whatever, and because he's a little bit more versatile and he can be a wing player, that kind of idea what we've seen for the last 17 minutes of Ross County, throwing another man forward, he can be that guy also. So the versatility definitely ticks the right box. And again, as well, if it's a loan with buy option and he can sit behind O'Riley when O'Reilly's going to have like youth international football, because he's still a youth international, I think, at this point. Maybe he gets into the senior squad as well, but these are the sort of things that the manager will be thinking about. Moy will have international travel, of course, so having another guy like this who's motivated, fresh and capable points to me that the manager is putting more onus on that those two attacking positions. You know, we've got Turnbull and Rio, we've got O'Riley and question marks, you know, so an Alex Collado might just add another question mark, but one that's, you know, of a high level and just increases competition. The manager wants competition at all areas of the pitch, but it does beg the question of where do we get defensive rigidity from in midfield, because if we go and bring this guy in on loan, we're hoping McCarthy leaves and maybe that opens the door, but there's been no links, there's no sniff of any sort of CDM that we could be going for, and all the ones that you would have associated for us to maybe be looking at, their transfers are getting completed on a daily and a weekly basis, so you are starting to scratch around and wonder, where are we going to be shopping for this backup to McGregor that we don't have at the moment? I don't know. Also, all across the Twitter sphere and all across Celtic, all the rest of it, but Juranovic is on the radar of Man United and Chelsea. These links don't seem to be anything like majorly concrete. It feels very much like Atletico Madrid again, in the sense that it's somebody's got access to a scouting sheet and Juranovic's name is on it. Now, with that being said, when I did the video, it'll be linked in the description, this one, if you want to go and check it out, I suppose, but when I did the video talking about Juranovic being linked to Atletico Madrid, there was still some real high-end right-back options available in the market. Mukiele has now went to Paris Saint-Germain, and Nahuel Molina has completed the move to Atletico Madrid. Destiny Udogie, I think he's actually a left back, but he's completed the move. So a lot of these hot prospect fullbacks that are around in the market are getting snapped up. So any teams that are after guys, then, you know, Juranovic is just getting higher and higher on the availability list. So I do expect this to continue. If he does go straight to the Premier League, then I think we're in for getting a huge sum of money, because he's a Croatian international that's shown that he can perform against, you know, the good and the great of international football in his Croatia career, and, you know, his character and his dynamic and his metrics from his time at Celtic should translate well to the elite level. I don't think we'll be selling him in this window, to be quite honest with you. I could easily see him being sold in the winter window if we're eliminated from the Champions League, especially if we're eliminated from Europe altogether. I think it will be a foregone conclusion that it will be sold in the winter window. But for me, it's a bit of a non-starter. There's absolutely no pressure on us to sell somebody like Juranovic at this window, because he is only trending up the way. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, guys, about any of the stuff we went through, the predicted 11 for Kilmarnock, the Alex Collado transfer, or the Josip Juranovic transfer. I'm really interested to hear all your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. About to pop on screen now some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.